taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
Alexa Kidd. Good morning and welcome. So you've got 5 minutes and your time starts when you're ready to start. Fire away.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much indeed for giving me this opportunity to speak to my very brief submission, really, but about limiting the speed on Matthews and also on the cul-de-sac end of Santa Maria Avenue in Mount Pleasant. But I speak to you today, it seems a little indulgent to be talking just about the streets around the corner from where I live. So I speak to you today also as a doctor who works mainly at the moment with intellectually disabled adults who do not get the chance to speak for themselves, who do not get the chance to drive, and who walk often, a lot, as their only way of getting around. And they are often, through no fault of their own, quite impulsive. They may have behavioural problems. And reducing the speed limits on the roads is one huge step towards more equality for those who can't speak for themselves. I'm also a geneticist, a clinical geneticist, and I'm very used to thinking about risk and thinking about prevention. And we doctors, we don't want to be the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff picking up preventable problems. We've got enough work to do with the unpreventable problems. But you guys are in a perfect position to set the environment right, to limit the accidents that are preventable. There's a lot of work, I understand, going on in Europe, and you'll all be very much aware. I don't want to trot out all the data you've heard before about the risk of dying when you hit a car at 30k per hour is 10% if you're an average person hitting an average car. If you're an old person hitting a ute, I'm sure it's a lot worse. And in Wales, I understand they're reducing the speeds right across all the suburban areas to 20 miles per hour, 30 kilometres per hour, which is something that I think we should work towards. Matthews itself, though, is one of the 3 roads into the higher bits of Mount Pleasant. It's used more heavily than you might think. The main roads in are Solaris and Mount Pleasant Road. But Matthews is the steepest, almost the steepest road in the whole of Christchurch. It is so steep that the pavement breaks into steps. If you don't like paying gym membership, come and walk up and down Matthews a few times. The elderly who live on this street, and there are quite a lot, are incredibly fit in their 80s, and they walk up and down every night. They actually walk on the road, not on the pavement, because there's often obstructions. There's, on Mondays, the bins stay there the entire day. And so they're walking on the road. Cars are coming down. They can come down at 50k perfectly legally until they reach the corner where there is a speed limit of 20 on the way down and 25 on the way up. That's a long way down. There are parked cars on the right. There are blind entrances all the way up with cars reversing out. Now we have e-bikes, and a few brave people actually cycle up Matthews as well as down. They wiggle across the road. My own cat was killed on Matthews, so I feel quite personal about Matthews. Another cat, incidentally, was hit outside our house and hit by a very nice lady who happened to be driving very slowly, and that particular cat ran off and was a bit stressed for a wee while, but actually survived. Speed kills. We all know that. So I guess when it comes to cul-de-sacs, I see no reason to go at 50k down any cul-de-sac. And I'd also put it to you that having an accident anywhere is terrible, and you're responsible, it would be terrible. But having an accident in which you hurt your neighbour's animal or your neighbour's grandmother is even worse. So it's kind of sensible for all of us to be very careful for that last mile or last half mile. So I guess I'd like to end there with asking you to think about the whole discussion about speeds in the neighbourhoods, not just from the point of view of those who are able to come and speak here, but also the people who can't speak for themselves.
Thank you. Oh, Tim, just quickly.
Yeah, like 'cause when you describe Matthews Road, it's almost the same, or exactly the same as Dyer's Path when you go straight down
Yep.
and then the sharp corner. So I can understand the logic there for 30k, but we a lot of the info that we've got here talks about death, but your thoughts on, because one of the, I guess, almost the worst thing is a head injury. So I know that people suddenly, if you've got a bike helmet, you're safe, but you're not. So being a professional in the healthcare, do you have any comment with regards to head injuries?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, the cost to society, to the family,
Yeah.
and particularly to the individual is absolutely huge. So anything we can do to prevent head injuries would be great.
And it doesn't
That's
take
right.
much, does
And
it?
it can be a lifelong cost. So thank you for coming in and speaking for those who can't speak for themselves. That's really, really good of you to do that. Thank you. Okay.